Welcome back to Smash Brothers. Today we're going to be making more progress into the world of lights. This time with Bonkers, the mini-boss from the Kirby games. Here represented by a Donkey Kong. You know, I was going to start with a battle against Top Man here, but I've realised it might be easier if I just clear every area one at a time before I expand the fog any further. Otherwise I will end up losing spirits, so... Bonus fruit from Pac-Man. These are items that would appear semi-regularly in the Pac-Man games. Well, in Pac-Man, the first one, the original. And if you pick them up, they give you a ton of points. In this game, they serve as Pac-Man's neutral B move, and he can basically wield them as items. Keyword being can, not when I absolutely thrash him before he even gets a chance, so yeah. They give you a very interesting ability as well. They allow you to boost your maximum health in stamina matches, which is very situational because there aren't actually that many stamina matches in the grand scheme of things. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. The next thing we're going to do, the next opponent we're going to take on, over on this bridge here, is Ellie the Elephant from Donkey Kong Country 3. This was one of the animal companions. There's nothing more ridiculous looking than seeing Kiddy Kong, a giant man-baby of an ape, riding on this tiny little elephant. But you'll notice it's being played by a bunch of Squirtles, all spamming their water gun. You know, kind of like an elephant spouts water from its trunk. The bright side to this is that Squirtle's water gun does no damage. So, unless you're blown off and knocked into the water, you kind of can't lose this battle. And if you do, I'm very impressed that you managed to pull that off. They didn't hit me once. Perfect. That boosts your water and ice attack damage, which, again, there aren't many water-type attacks in this game that actually do damage. Ice, on the other hand, can be a bit more devastating, particularly in the hands of the ice climbers, so... Moving on now, here is a 3-star spirit. This one is really goddamn hard. This is Rayman, a Ubisoft representative who, despite being in this game as a spirit, does not appear in any kind of way as like a playable character. There's no playable Ubisoft character, which gives me a strong feeling that the next representative, the next DLC character that will be introduced, and this is just purely theoretical here, is probably going to be a Ubisoft rep. It just seems right. Whether it's Rayman, or maybe a Rabbid, or even if it's like Ezio, or some Assassin's Creed representative. Anything like that. Maybe a Far Cry character. Anyway, going on to Rayman himself. Rayman was Ubisoft's platforming mascot, introduced in the PlayStation era. You'll notice that he's a weird limbless freak. Yeah, he basically functions with floating appendages, hence why he was being played there by Sukapon, an android from the game Joy Mecha Fight, who fights in a similar fashion. And also Sonic, because, you know, 90s mascot. Sonic is the quintessential 90s mascot, so why not have Rayman be represented by Sonic? Also, he's really goddamn fast and really hard to hit, which, yeah, I guess you could attribute those to Rayman as well. Just need to actually really try on this fight because this guy is really tricky. Wow, 2 or 3 more hits and I'm boned. I need to be really careful here. Oh, shit. Final smash, didn't need that. Oh, lordy. Come on. Good lord, this is a close one. Like I say, 3-star battles. Legit tough. Get out. No more Rayman. Again, if he does somehow get into the game, though, I'd be very pleased. It would be, it'd be a nice gesture considering how overshadowed he got by the Rabbids in the end. Anyway, moving on. We have Choo Choo. This is a little squid, octopus-esque creature, introduced in Kirby's Dream Land 3 as one of Kirby's companions. She has a massive crush on Kirby, and playing her we have Jigglypuff wearing a massive bow, because Jigglypuff is a balloon and therefore super floaty, much like Choo Choo herself. Also the sticky floor because, you know, squid, ink, octopus. It all kind of makes sense. I also particularly like the music playing right now, being from Kirby's Dream Land 3. One of my favourite Kirby games. One of the most underrated Kirby games, I feel. Even though my horrible phobia of, like, eyes getting injured or damaged or penetrated in any way. Yeah, the final boss of that game kind of hits me hard in that sense. Ugh. Anyway, there's Choo Choo, defeated. That gives us the Super Leaf, which gives us the ability to float. Makes sense, really. And there we go. Moving on, who do we have next? We have, oh, more Kirby. We have the Poppy Brothers Jr., the younger of the Poppy Brothers. Poppy Brothers were bomb-wielding enemies who've been there since the beginning of Kirby. I'm pretty sure Poppy Brothers Jr. was the first boss of the first Kirby game. No, that'd be Wispy Woods. Either way, they are bomb-wielding little fellows, and after the copy abilities were introduced into Kirby, they were pretty much a go-to to get yourself bombs. Bombs being very helpful for both defeating enemies and opening paths. And that could have gone disastrously if I had punched that bomb there. Thank goodness I didn't. Alright, next up. Ooh, hello. Now we have bombs, of course. Now I can blow up rocks. Don't think I've encountered any rocks yet, but if I had, I could have gone back and blown them up now. There's Wrinkly Kong, a dead old Kong from the Donkey Kong games. She appears as a ghost to give you guidance in Donkey Kong 64. So, let's go up into this mine here and see what we can find. Oh, I can't even get to that explodable rock because there's a broken bridge in the way. How many obstacles are you going to give me? Here is Russ. Russ is the main sidekick from the Dylan games for the 3DS. The Dylan games being a bunch of tower defense action games where you played as an anthropomorphic armadillo who would protect villages from rock monsters. Russ was your main sidekick in those games. He was a squirrel who would fly around with a jetpack or a flying hovercycle, hence why we had Fox with a jetpack there. And that is Russ. Dylan himself appears in this game as an assist trophy, but, oh, here's Brewster. Brewster is the owner of a coffee shop. He is a barista from Animal Crossing, I believe it's, Wild World. Animal Crossing Wild World, where he was introduced. And I believe he's appeared in every Animal Crossing game since. His basic function in the town is just to serve you coffee every day. You just go into his bar, you get a lovely atmosphere, and you have yourself a tasty coffee. Simple as that. So I like the way that this particular fight has recontextualized Luigi's Mansion. So no longer is it a dark, creepy place, but it's more of a relaxing place. Particularly with this music. It's now, the interior decor of it now kind of gives off the vibe of a warm, cozy coffee shop, which I love that. And you'll notice the coffee was spawning as well. Iced coffees, iced lattes. Anyway, that gives you slumber immunity, which makes sense. Coffee shop. Caffeine. And moving on, we have a treasure chest. With a bunch of snacks in it. I need more of those, actually. I need to upgrade more spirits. Here is Min Min from the game ARMS for the Switch. ARMS was a game that really helped to show off the potential of the Joy-Cons, their motion capabilities, as it was a fighting game where you had prehensile arms in order to punch your foes from a distance. Min Min in particular, I picked up a few tidbits about her. She's a big fan of ramen. She comes from the Nintendo family, which, that's cute. But most prominently about her is when you use her properly, or when you optimize her abilities, she can turn her arms into dragons, which is why she's being played by the Fire Emblem character Corrin, who quite literally does the same thing, being part dragon. That said, all I need to do is just get a nice good finisher, and that will be sorted. Then I'll be good. I'm not as amazing with Donkey Kong as I am with several other characters, but I know Donkey Kong has potential to slam dunk. I just need to land those hits now. Come on, land those hits. I also need to be careful because I know Corrin can counter, and I don't want to get countered into oblivion. Here we go. Slam. Fuck! Wrong button. I meant to slam dunk there. Oh, I'll take that. That's fine. Works for me. There's Min Min. Alrighty, that's a lot of skill spheres and a lot of snacks. Thank you. Nice. Next up we have an actual character, Lucas, the main protagonist of Mother 3. A young lad with psychic powers who, early on in the game, has to go through a shitload of trauma. You know, he loses his mother and many other horrible events take place for him. And he has to spend the rest of his game taking on cultists and trying to stop the end of the world. So yeah. Sucks to be Lucas, but he was introduced into Smash with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And he's basically a faster, lighter, and more damaging version. Well, not more damaging, but more swift version of Ness from Mother 2. He has more combo potential, is what I'm trying to get across. Whereas Ness is very powerful and decisive with his moves, Lucas will juggle you. As he was doing to me through most of this battle. He will juggle the hell out of you. He also has a really cool final smash in the form of PK Starstorm, which allows him to rain down meteors, psychic meteors. But that said, his PK Starstorm is different from Ness's in that his sister and his pet dog Boney will be there to help him. And that is adorable. I'm sure I'll show that off at some point. Anyway, moving on, we have a 4-star spirit. This is one of the hardest fights in the game. This is Ashley. This fight has the worst condition in the world. If not for the condition, this would be far more doable. But every couple of seconds, your left and right controls will flip. And that, I promise, will fuck you up several times if you don't have a spirit to counteract it. Also, Ashley appears herself as an assist trophy. Fuck. Okay, so Ashley herself as a character is one of the WarioWare characters. She's a little demon child, and she has a little devil. Fucking named Little Red, who will fight as her minion. For fuck's sake! Come on, bastard, get dead! Nope. Nope. Shit! Fuck. Alright, victory run. I died on this about 20 times. And what's worse is after this battle, I started losing more and more, because my brain had actually rewired itself, so I would press left to go right and right to go left, even when the battle wasn't demanding that. It actually made me worse at Smash Bros. For a couple of battles, so yeah. This fight is painful. Thankfully, WarioWare itself is, you know, a fast, frantic game, and this WarioWare level is very luck-based. In this case, it made me very big for completing that challenge, and I can use my big dank size to finish off Ashley. Whew, okay. That makes my final smash meter go up quicker. Holy shit, I'm never not going to have that equipped. Goddamn yes please, thank you. Oh, well. That's the first 4-star I think we've done. I'm quite proud of that. Next up is Ashnard. Ashnard is the final boss of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, the 9th Fire Emblem game, the GameCube Fire Emblem game, that starred Ike as its hero. Ashnard is a Tyrant King, the King of Dayin, and he actually has a Laguz, a human who can transform into their fursona, for a lack of a better word. A dragon, one of those, is his mount. Assumingly, you'd think it's a wyvern, like, you know, wyvern riders are a thing in Fire Emblem, but the big, horrible reveal is that he basically has enslaved a sentient being into being his dragon servants. He's kind of a piece of shit, and Charizard here is representing that character, Rajayan, while Ganondorf himself is the big horrible bastard of a tyrant king, who I'm about to fuck him up real good. Oop! Or not. I was hoping for a flashy finisher there. Didn't quite happen. And that is Ashnard. He has an ability that is really rare in this game. I can't find many other characters who have it, which is Toss and Meteor, which actually improves your meteor spikes, your slam dunks. So hell yeah. More of that, please. Anyway, Gengar, one of my favourite Pokemon. Ghost and Poison type, introduced in Generation 1. Evolved from both Ghastly and Haunter. And Gengar also has a Mega Evolution in the form of Mega Gengar. Being a Ghost type, he has access to the move Hypnosis, which allows him to put enemies to sleep, hence why the floor is sleep-inducing. That said, if I'm not on it for too long, I should be okay. And, wow, here's another Purple Donkey Kong. I just realised that. Nice. Bonkers versus Gengar. Alright, that reduces poison damage, which makes sense because Gengar is quadruply resistant to poison. But not completely immune to it, so that's why it's not poison immunity. Anyway, next up we have Rover. Rover is a character from Animal Crossing. He's actually the first character you meet in Animal Crossing for the GameCube. And in that game, you meet him on a train. He introduces himself to you and allows you to build your character and create your town whilst you're chatting with him on the train there. Hence why we're now battling on a train with Rover himself and a bunch of villagers. The downside to this is that this level, the Spirit Train from Zelda Spirit Tracks, is one of my least favourite levels. Because if you touch that track right there, you're going to get dragged into hell. And if you go near the front of the train, you're going to get run over. And then you'll hit the ground, and then you'll get launched, and then you'll be dragged into hell. And sometimes the horrible shit just happens to the train, like there, where it just blows up. Add to that the fact that this is a 3-star battle, and these 3 are quite capable fighters. The 3 of them all are, so yeah. Gotta give this fight your all, and you've gotta hope to get lucky as well. Hope that they don't all just grab items and absolutely wreck your shop, as did happen to me several times whilst recording this. Come on. Just need to land that final smash, and I've got this. There we go. There's the Ultra Sword. Nice. Alright, that is Rover, who gives you immunity to ice floors? I guess that's because you de-ice railroad tracks? That's an odd one. Anyway, next up we have Copper and Booker. These are the 2 cops from Animal Crossing, the 2 town guards. They're a pair of watchdogs, if you will. Ha ha ha. They are actually both here as Master Spirits, so once we defeat them, we're going to be able to unlock their dojo. And we'll be getting into that shortly. So, they're being represented here by a pair of doggos. Their defense is very high because they're guards. They guard things. But the one thing they can't guard against is an angry ape with a hammer. Or an imaginary hammer. God damn it, as soon as I can figure out how to give myself a hammer at the start of a battle, I'm definitely giving that to Bonkers here. It doesn't feel right unless he has a hammer. It's not quite there. I haven't mastered this spirit, if you will. Anyway, 2 duck hunts can be quite irritating, as you're probably gathering here with their constant projectiles. But all it takes is 1 perfect strike, and I should be able to fuck them up. Come on, this is it. This is it. Got him. Nice. Copper and Booker. They also run a Lost and Found. I know that's completely incidental, but there you go. Anyway, let's go into their dojo and let's learn about dojos as a whole. So dojos are places where you can put your primary spirits and it will permanently alter their stats, or the stats of any characters wielding them. So in this case, we get the brick wall style, which massively boosts the defense of whatever spirit you give to it, but also lowers the offense. Don't know why I put Raiden there, because Raiden is definitely not a weak fellow. He can definitely tear Metal Gears in half, so how about I actually take him back? Not putting Raiden in there. Metal Mario? Would it suit him to be more defensive? No, I don't think it would, because again, he's like... Yeah, he's defensive, but he's also like indestructible, and in Mario 64, he kills things in one hit. We're gonna leave the dojo for now. When I find a character who suits that, you know, I'll put them in there. Anyway, continuing on, we have the Freezy. These appeared in the original Super Mario Bros. Game, the arcade game where you had to actually do plumbing whilst taking down random assortments of monsters. One such enemy you could find in that game were the Freezies, which would float around on their platforms, and if you touched them, they would freeze you. They'd also freeze the platforms they were on. In this battle, we have a bunch of Freezies spawning, which would be great if not for the fact that Freezies are kind of useless unless you're at high % damage, as emphasized here. And also we're fighting the Ice Climbers, who are the icy characters. Cold in every single respect. There's the Freezy. That's all ours now. And there we go. Bonkers is getting ever so slightly stronger over time. And I approve. Alright, we have a little bit more on this icy mountain to take. But first I just want to find out what's in this pipe. It would be remiss to ignore that. Oh, it's actually taken us to the other side of the mountain. Alright, that'll be for the next episode, or the 2 episodes from now. We'll explore that. For now, let's hang out with some Snowboarder from the 1080 games. 1080 snowboarding. This was a Nintendo 64 snowboarding game. And yeah, what's more to be said? It's a snowboarding game. So, to represent a snowboarder or an athletic person, we have the Wii Fit Trainer. And the stage that we're playing on, this stage right here, after a certain amount of time, will actually start falling down an icy mountain. So in a sense, we are snowboarding in this level. Also Freezies. More Freezies. More icy battles as we ascend up this icy mountain. All I need to do now is just land that finishing blow. Oop. Come on, there we are. And, oh, there's the snowboarding. There it is. Very nice. I can feel the vertigo as we speak. Alright, land a hit, land a hit, land a hit. A lot of this LP is just going to be me trying to land finishing blows. That's what a lot of Smash really devolves into. Especially in more chaotic battles. That is Akari. Very nice. I'm not going to even try and pronounce the surname, I will butcher it. And there we are. Next up we have Absol. Not an ice type, but a Pokemon that does generally live in mountainous regions. The reason for this is that Absol is kind of like the Cassandra of Pokemon. It is a dark, edgy, wolfish Pokemon, hence why, you know, it's being played by a wolf with a scythe. But its whole gimmick is that it can predict disasters and will always appear to try and warn people when a disaster is about to happen. The only downside with that is that the disaster eventually does happen, and then everyone blames the Absol, and Absols are exiled and hunted down, so they have to live in mountains away from humans. And to perfectly emphasize the fact that a disaster is about to take place, we have Palkia, the god of space, in the background there, who, if the fight went on any longer, would have started flipping the screen around and fucking up the battle, making it way harder. So yeah. Anyway, next up we have the Condor. Condor appeared at the end of the bonus stages of Ice Climber. And it was basically, well, exactly that. It was a condor that would fly across the top of the screen once you'd finally climbed to the mountain. In order to actually finish the stage, you had to do an incredibly well-timed jump in order to grab the condor. If you didn't manage to grab it, you'd fail the stage. So, to represent that, we have a Ridley, who is constantly trying to get away from me. Kind of like the condor, which itself flies back and forth across the screen. Also, we have Ice Climbers here, to represent the fact that in a 2-player game of Ice Climber, you and your partner would be fighting to try and steal the Condor first. Anyway, getting that Condor gives us resistance to strong winds, what with it being a burb, and there we are. Next up, oh, there's a Bombable Rock. Guess I'm gonna have to get that for myself. Ooh, and a treasure chest. What is in here? Music from a game I haven't played. Cool, great, thanks. Anyway, let's head back down the mountain. And let's hop into this pipe ready for the next episode. Well, 2 episodes from now. See you then.